My name is Jose Antonio Vargas. I was born in the Philippines. I moved to the United States when I was 12. My mother wanted to give me a better life, so she sent me to live with my grandparents in Silicon Valley. I loved America the moment I got here. Embraced the language, the culture, the people. English was my second language, and I learned to speak American by watching Frasier, Home Improvement, and The Golden Girls. I won the spelling bee in 8th grade by spelling indefatigable. In high school, I fell in love with journalism. I started working for my local newspaper, the Mountain View Voice. Then I got hired at the Washington Post. I covered the 2008 presidential campaign, from traveling on Hillary Clinton's plane to pheasant hunting with Huckabee. I've interviewed Al Gore for Rolling Stone and profiled Mark Zuckerberg for The New Yorker. I even won a Pulitzer Prize for covering the Virginia Tech massacre. At age 16, I rode my bike to the DMV to get my driver's permit. I brought my green card with me. The woman at the DMV flipped it around. She leaned over and she whispered, "This is fake. Don't come back here again." I went home and confronted my grandfather. That was the first time I realized that I'm an undocumented immigrant. What some people call an illegal. The first person I told was Mrs. Denny, my choir teacher. After she told me that she was planning a choir trip to Japan, I told her I couldn't afford it. But she said we'd find a way. We'd figure it out. Then I decided to tell her the truth. It's not really about the money, I said. I don't have the right passport. I'm not supposed to be here. Mrs. Denny got it. The next day, she told me the choir was going to Hawaii instead.
It just mattered to me that Jose was hardworking, he was enthusiastic, he was always coming to class, and it's our job to educate them, to make them better citizens of the world. It doesn't matter what country they're from or what their background or their legal papers are.
Mrs. Denny was the very first member of my personal Underground Railroad. Americans who decided to help undocumented immigrants like me. Other members of my Underground Railroad include Rich Fisher, my high school superintendent, and Pat Hyland, my high school principal. For more than a decade now, Pat and Rich have been with me every step of the way, guiding me and supporting me as I've tried to define what it means to be an American. I define American as someone who works really hard, someone who's proud to be in this country and wants to contribute to it. I'm independent. I pay taxes. I'm self-sufficient. I'm an American. I just don't have the right papers. I take full responsibility for my actions, and I'm sorry for the laws that I've broken. What would you do if you were a choir teacher and found out that a student in your glee club can't travel for a competition? What would you do if you were a high school principal and found out that one of your students can't apply for financial aid? What would you do if your child's best friend didn't have papers? As a journalist, I've decided to do what I know best: ask questions. So let's talk. What would you do?